Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Classic Comics. Nosferatu is an important film in the history of horror, being pretty much the first vampire film based loosely on Bram Stoker's novel Dracula. It got a remake back in 1979, and now, just after its 100th anniversary in 2022, director Robert Eggers gives us a new version of the story. Nosferatu is, of course, a variation of Bram Stoker's Dracula, with the names of the characters changed. This story has been presented on film numerous times, as well as in other media, so I'll assume that most of you watching know the basics of the story, but if not, here they are. Thomas Hutter is a real estate agent in Visburg, Germany, played by Nicholas Hoult, who is sent to Transylvania to close a real estate deal with Count Orlok, a nobleman who wants to acquire a mansion in the town and retire there, or so he claims. Orlok is played by Bill Skarsgård. Thomas is married to Ellen, played by Lily Rose Depp, who has psychic abilities. When she was young, her spirit made contact with Orlok somehow, and now he wants to possess her. She discourages Thomas from making the trip after having a bad dream, but he insists on going as success will secure his career. While Thomas is gone, Ellen stays with some friends, Friedrich, his wife Anna, and their two children. Arriving at Orlok's castle, he falls under the Count's control and becomes a prisoner after completing the sale of the mansion. Ellen begins having strange dreams and violent seizures, which eventually start occurring nightly. Friedrich hires a doctor named Sievers to treat her, but he is unable to stop the seizures, which don't seem to have any physical cause. Dr. Sievers brings Ellen's case to the attention of Dr. von Franz, played by Willem Dafoe, an eccentric professor who studies the occult. Eventually, he deduces that Ellen's dreams and seizures are being caused by the influence of a vampire. Eventually, Thomas escapes and makes his way back to Germany, while the Count travels to Visburg by ship. The ship eventually drifts into Visburg's harbor, but the crew are all found dead, and at the same time, Thomas arrives on horseback. Rats escape from the ship and begin spreading the Black Plague through the town. Dr. von Franz tells Thomas and Sievers that Orlok can only be defeated by destroying his coffin, which contains the earth of his native land, which will leave him with no place to rest during the day. Thomas, Dr. Sievers, and von Franz plan to find his coffin and destroy it, thereby hopefully saving Ellen and the town. And you can probably figure out the rest from there. So is this new remake any good? I'll start with the good parts first. Nosferatu is an impeccably made film. The cinematography is excellent. The film looks great. The actors give good performances for the most part. The costumes, the sets are all well done. One of the best things about this movie is that there are no hints of modernity seeping into the film. The characters all act appropriate to the time when the film is set, which is in the 1830s. There are no awkwardly inserted black lesbians or girl bosses. Eggers does a great job of establishing the Gothic horror atmosphere, from the cramped streets and dark forests to Count Orlok's decaying castle. The film relies more on establishing an atmosphere of dread rather than on lots of blood and gore to build a sense of horror. If you've seen the Bela Lugosi film and Francis Ford Coppola's 1992 version, in many ways Eggers does a similar thing here, updating the film and making it a much more lavish production with lots of creepy scenes involving Orlok. In fact, there are some scenes that seem to be directly inspired by Coppola's film. Another similarity to the 1992 film is the emphasis on the connection, I won't call it a romance exactly, between the vampire and the female lead. However, this film does have some issues, in my opinion. My main complaint is that this movie is slow. It has a runtime of 2 hours and 10 minutes, but it feels more like 2.5 hours at least. The somber, grim tone maintained throughout the film doesn't help. Also, the film just isn't scary, in my opinion. It's creepy, it's atmospheric, but I was never scared or even close to it. Beyond that, my complaints about the film are largely minor quibbles. For example, the film is set in Germany, but everyone has a British accent for some reason. Also, in the second half of the film, Ellen's fits and seizures begin to resemble demonic possession. as she begins speaking in tongues and having wild conniptions, and at times it begins to get a bit over the top, bordering on becoming a parody of The Exorcist. Overall, this is a film that feels like it was made to be admired more than it was made to be enjoyed. Another point I'll make is that unlike many vampire films that make the vampire alluring and seductive, Orlok is presented as entirely monstrous. He's no tall, dark, handsome seducer in a nice suit. He's brutish, he's cruel, his body is decaying. He's not presented as a tragic figure or as a star-crossed lover or someone looking for redemption or an end to his undead existence. As Orlok himself says in the film, "I am an appetite, nothing more." And Bill Skarsgård does a fine job in the role. He's completely unrecognizable underneath all the prosthetics. Nosferatu is worth seeing, but you need a lot of patience to sit through this thing. If you don't like movies that take their time and slowly move towards a conclusion, Nosferatu may not be for you. I'll give Nosferatu 3.5 iron spikes out of 5. Let me know what you thought of Nosferatu and my review in the comments. Please do like this video and sub to the channel, and check out some of my other videos while you're here, and I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching.